sink into the chair. Oh my goodness. Common denominator. Back. Blacks Who Go Blonde. Hidden dangers. Very, very important topic. In the video, I'm noticeably putting more black men. Because honestly, it doesn't really matter what gender you are. It's a problem for everybody. And I'm going to show you why. What you're looking at here is the results of a test where black girls chose the white doll every time. Every time. I'm just going to let you think about that for a second. Just look at these pictures, and I want you to think about what's happening in this country and why I made that initial video on Blacks Who Go Blonde. All right, so the what's happening is I'm not just trying to criticize black women. I want people to understand this. This has nothing to do with black women. It has everything to do with black people and our mental stability, our mental health state, the state of the black mind in this country. It's sad that I have to do a video like this, because anyone who anyone living in this country, anyone black who is awake, or what some people call woke, anyone who's awake, anyone who sees what's going on with the media, what's going on just look around. We have to understand that we have an identity as African Americans, and our identity is exactly what the name entails: African American. And I don't know about you, but I'm a proud African. Okay, I'm proud. And I'm very forward thinking. I don't know if this is your first video or not, but very, very forward thinking. I'm beyond the hood. I'm beyond the ghetto. That stuff is trash. That stuff is killing us. And what you're looking at on your screen is the next wave of death. Okay? What you're seeing is death. Mentally, psychological death. I don't know how else to put it, but that's exactly what it is. Now, let me talk about something really important here. I have a couple questions that I'd like people to honestly think about. Here's the truth. The truth is you can do anything you want with your hair. Anything you want. You can dye it any color you want, do whatever you want. All I'm attempting to show is the danger behind making these choices. Okay, what I want to show you is the danger. I showed you the little black girls with the dolls choosing the white doll. Do you realize that what you're looking at on your screen is a result of the programming in adults? Do you realize that these black women and black men have chosen the doll Do you realize that they have internalized it? This, someone said to me in the comments, and I respect everyone's comments. Someone said to me in the comments that it's just a hair color. Is it? Is it though? Is it just a hair color? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just a hair color. And I'm going to tell you why. This has everything to do with hegemony. It has everything to do with the power structure, and it has everything to do with propaganda, Nazi propaganda, and the master race. And it has everything to do with psychological damage. Look, the fact that the little black girls are choosing white dolls is indicative of psychological damage. True or false? Okay, we know that. But the fact that it's continued and it's manifesting itself in this sort of behavior in black people today is indicative of psychological damage. All right. I'm not a psychologist, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be a psychologist to see that something's wrong with this. Okay? Let me put it to you this way. We have a greater chance of finding a black woman with blonde. Okay? We have a greater chance of her with blonde highlights or blonde or auburn wigs or some sort of European inspired hair color or style than you do finding a black woman with her hair in its natural state. Or in its natural state, it could be kinky, it could be straightened. I don't see anything wrong with straightening the hair. You could do it. Everybody straightens their hair. White people straighten their hair. But when it's perpetually straightened and never allowed to rest in its natural state, that's indicative of a problem. Now, I understand that there are problems in society where jobs won't let African American women wear their hair naturally. I've heard this, and I think it's wrong. And I want people to stand up against that. That's discrimination. And I understand that. And I'm not talking specifically about that. But there are a few steps between straightening your hair and blonde. There's a few steps. Straightening the hair, everybody on the planet has straight hair for the most part. Most people have straight hair. Straight black hair is probably the most common. It is the most common type of hair on the planet. Straight black hair. So, there's some wiggle room in there in terms of hairstyles and choices, but blonde refers specifically to what the Nazis referred to as being the master race. Let me just give you some information about this real quick. All right, I want you to take a look at your screen here, and I want you to see something here. I highlighted it for you. It says, for Hitler, we're talking about a psychopath, a European psychopath who murdered people and who viewed his race, the Aryan race, as the master race. And look at the features he mentions. He doesn't mention straight black hair. He doesn't mention brunette. He doesn't mention redhead. For Hitler, the ideal Aryan was blonde, blue-eyed, and tall. So this is why I see this as a problem. When you wear this color hair, there's so many options out there that you can wear, but when you wear this color hair or hair that acquiesces to that power structure, it's like in a way you're supporting it. It's political. It's not I mean, who are you? Why would anyone fight to wear this hair color? I don't understand this. Why would you fight to wear this? This should literally be the last thing you want to wear on your head. I mean, just consider the meaning behind this. All right, now I'm going to ask you another question. Actually, this is going to be the first question. Does wearing blonde hair add to the strength of the community? Just ask yourself that. Does it add to the beauty standards that are already in place? Just ask yourself that. Is it beneficial? Does it help the kids? When the kids look at it and see it, does it not distort their perception of what beauty is? People need to understand that, look, I'm an individualist and a collective at the same time. I believe we're supposed to have both of these traits, and all cultures do, but there has to be some responsibility to the collective, at least a little bit of responsibility. And this is why I speak out against the hood. I speak out against hood mentality, the ghetto mentality. I speak out against all sorts of dysfunction in the community because it's a community thing. It's a responsibility. Wearing blonde hair does children more harm than good. You see that? You see what's happening. Just think about what's happening in terms of interracial dating and marriage. Just think about it. Is it more likely to go up or go down based on this trend that's happening? What's more likely to happen? Just ask yourself. All right? Just ask yourself that. But not just that. Forget about that. Think about for a second the increase of depression, the increase in self-hate and self-loathing type of behavior. Think about that. Think about children who are forming and seeing this stuff. Think about what's happening to them. For a second, just stop thinking about yourself and think about the group. Think about the collective. What is happening to these children? You saw them in the study. You saw them picking that doll every time. You saw it. What does that say to you? Okay. Like I said, you can do whatever you want, but I just want you to think beyond your mirror. Think beyond what you feel is beautiful. If you feel that is beautiful and you're going to go ahead and wear that over what you were given, think about yourself. What has happened to you? What have you internalized from TV, from ads, from media? What have you internalized? What's happened to you to where you would fight to actually have that, to be able to wear that? Let me ask you another question now. Whose scalp does blonde hair grow out of? Okay. People from which countries? All right. Just think about that for a second. And we're not talking about the blonde in the Solomon Islands that was recently discovered, who no one even knew about. Okay. And that experts thought was a European gene, but turns out to be a unique gene to that island. No one, let's be honest, no one knew about that. We're talking about the blonde that's here right here in the States. Okay. I want you to think about that. Anyway, this is Common Denominator.